Welcome to Discover Virginia, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of the incredible people, businesses, and stories that shape the Hampton Roads and Virginia community. Each episode, we sit down with local entrepreneurs, creatives, and change makers who are redefining what it means to live, work, and also play in this region. Now, let's explore, connect, and discover Virginia. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Discover Virginia podcast. I'm your host, Joseph Trahan. Today, we are checking out on our show, Coastal Seaplanes. We're continuing on the spirit of taking the show on the road. And today I get the opportunity to talk with Sam Riggs, CEO, operator, and owner of this beautiful plane right here, Coastal Seaplanes. Nothing left to do, but get ready for takeoff. We'll see you in the air.
Yeah, it should work. So we got kind of a northwest wind. We're going to cruise down the channel a little bit here. And then we'll check for traffic, and then we'll get on our way.
Sounds good. If I need to press anything when I'm talking or just...
You just chit-chat. If you ever want to talk on the radio, there's your push to talk, but we won't need that today.
So this button here, I could talk...
Yeah, if you wanted to chat with ATC or something like that.
Oh, very cool.
Holler at them, tell them how cool they are and how good they're doing at Newport News. You could do that.
All right. I'm going to do that.
No.
Don't do it? No present?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
Yeah. They won't hear down here anyway. So there's two different comms we got here. We got 22.9er, which is what we use for just this area right here, this Chisholm Creek, which is our seaplane base called Coastal Seaplanes Legacy. And then the one below that that's Newport News Tower. And we're right on the outside of the Delta here. Delta airspace is about 4 miles from the center of the airport there. We're at about 5.
So for our aviation savvy listeners out there, what's the key difference in flying seaplanes versus traditional land-based aircraft?
Well, the first thing is you can land on water as many times as you want in a seaplane. You can land on water with a wheelplane once. Yeah, so one of the key features of flying floats is that your runway environment is all the time changing. You got wind and waves and current and boat traffic, and a lot of stuff like that going on.
Ever see dolphins?
All the time.
Yeah, that's really.
Yeah, especially when the menhaden get to cruising around close to the creeks and stuff. The bait fish push up into the creeks that dolphin want to come in here chasing after them.
What's the biggest safety consideration you need for water operations? Things like boaters. You ever almost run into a boater? I know they get pretty crazy out here waterways.
Yeah, so no close calls. We're pretty conservative on our operations. I think that there's definitely a little bit more of a concern for jet skiers. I think because I don't know, that's sort of like a full body boating experience for jet skiers. So they're kind of eyes down and they're not looking for floatplanes so much, especially out here in the Chesapeake Bay, where we're the first commercial, seaplane charter company. So boats and jet skiers aren't used to looking for us, and everywhere yet. Here we're doing really well in the lower Chesapeake Bay region, but we're still, responsibly introducing seaplanes into other regions that are getting used to it. So, we try to maintain, a safe distance from other boats, 100 feet or more. And I think that there's people on the water in boats that have never been that close to an airplane that they weren't on, especially on the water. So, showing people how we operate safely in a marine environment is a big part of our commitment to the community.
Absolutely. So we're about to take off here. We're here in Yorktown, Virginia. I know, typically on airlines, pilots are a bad joke or a bad joke. Yeah. What's your go-to joke when you take off?
I'm just excited. It's my first day. I'm really stoked for today's flight. Never done this before. Hope it goes really well. All right, we're going to get up on a step taxi. Step taxi is just we're going to motorboat down to the end of the creek. We got a tailwind right now. The goal is to take off as much into the wind as possible. Yeah, we're getting down here to the end of the sea lane, and then we'll turn around and take off to the northwest. All right, so we always go, when we're doing this, so we have a checklist that we've already been through, but we also use what's called just your pre-takeoff check. So it's kind of a mental acronym. So you got fuel flap slippers, right? And if you're in a beaver or something like this, it has a friction seal, flaps, flippers, friction. So fuel is on the fullest tank. Mixture is all the way rich. Your flaps are set for takeoff. And when we get going, since we have a tailwind, if we pull the flippers up right now, the water rudders, it'll start to turn us around. So we'll kind of get going, then we'll pull the water rudders up. All right.
Good. Well, if there's anything I need to remember to do, I've already forgotten it. So hopefully you got that covered.
I got you covered. Here we go. All right. So we're up on the step now, and we'll just pull the power back, and we'll just kind of motor down here to the end. And right there on your right, you've got a little circle in the window. Go ahead, just put your finger right in the middle of that. Push that out. There you go. A little wind vent. Bazinga.
Now, how do I close it?
I just pull it back to you there. Just kind of the way you're doing it. Push that larger part backwards, and that'll kind of pull it closed.
It's very nice.
Yeah. So here's another boat on the water. Prime example. Keep a nice, safe distance. Seaplanes should always follow the rules of the road out on the water here. All right, so we'll leave the water rudders up, and I'll show you what a seaplane's weather vanning tendency looks like. So you can see the nose starting to turn. I'm not doing anything to make that happen. She just wants to face into the wind. All right, we check, make sure the area is clear. Fuel flaps and flippers are set. Seatbelts are on. And here we go. All the way forward. We're looking for that nose rise. At the top of the second one, we'll kind of push her over here. And this time we don't pull the power back yet. We're going to let her come across the water until she wants to fly. And you'll kind of feel it. And it'll just all the way over, get one float out. We're on one float now. And we'll just let her fly off the water. There you go. Pull the nose over. We're pulling the power back. And we start milking the flaps.
Now, for everyone watching, that was probably the smoothest takeoff I've ever been a part of. And I'm going to kudos to you for that. But also, what are we doing, American Airlines? Did it always be that smooth? Like, wow, I didn't feel that.
Well, that's good. I'll take it.
And I can say that because I've flown with Jeff Britton. Shout out to Jeff Britton. But yeah, takeoff, man, you know.
So we're just going to climb out over here. Seaplane's got a lot of drag, so you want to keep the airspeed up. So nice little flat climb out. Get airspeed going. Watch your temperatures. That one's the one you got to worry about. CHTs and a 206 climb up on you pretty good. And we got a little overcast today at about 1,700 feet. So we're just going to cruise around down here about 500 feet, see if we can see some stuff.
That sounds great. The waterways here are beautiful, and especially too being conveniently located in Yorktown, you can kind of get to anywhere you want to go.
Yes.
You guys cover Cape Charles as well as parts of OBX and Virginia Beach area as well, correct?
Yeah, we cover pretty much the entire Mid-Atlantic. So from Yorktown, we've got 8 seaplane bases on the Lower Chesapeake Bay alone. But we go into every nook and cranny of including the entire Outer Banks, all the way to South Carolina, and we go as far north as New York.
Far north is New York City. Wow.
That's right. So now that we're in our cruise section, we'll pull out the checklist. Checklists are a big thing in commercial flying. We got our power set. Cow flaps is required. Our trim is set. We've got the mixture set up for cruise. And then we got our fuel selector on the fullest tank still. And we got everything pretty much where we want it.
Absolutely. Now, I did see on your checklist there was a hydration section. Is that time for the hydration checklist yet, or we have to wait for that?
Let's do it, dude. Let's go for it.
Yeah, because here I got some drinks packed here because I always get parched on the podcast. Let's be honest, if you're not drinking non-alcoholic beverages, what are you doing with your life?
There you go.
Crunchy's beverage right here. This is not an ad. This is just a great product. Shout out to Megan Riggs. Same last name as you, Sam.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's cool, man. Here we go. Got a couple of
cheers.
Yes, sir. No boozes in this, I trust?
No boozes. No, this is gluten-free, no sugar, vegan, blah, 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 blah. Great stuff.
Oh,
and
that's cool.
It's the mango energized with some caffeine in it.
Nice. Aviation and caffeine are synonymous.
Yeah. Speaking of aviation, what got you interested in flying? What got you started in aviation in general?
I've been obsessed with flying since I was just a kid. I think, as soon as I realized that there were people on those planes way up in the sky, I was just enamored with it and dreamed about it, obsessed over it. I think when I was 11, I built an airplane, like a glider. It was more like a big kite, but...
Oh, no, don't undersell yourself here. You built a glider that you could actually fly?
Yeah, I flew it. Well, my Aunt Mary's boyfriend, Jean-Paul Suarez, was... crazy and kind enough to tow me up behind his F-350 Power Stroke out on his property. And it got off the ground and then kind of, 3 or 4 feet, flew for a little bit, then dragged a wingtip because I had absolutely zero flying experience. And then it kind of cartwheeled. And that was the end of that, but it was just more fuel on the fire.
Yeah, man. At first and last crash landing, I hope.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, we've knock on wood, been really fortunate. Just got to stay on top of maintenance, stay on top of training, and everything's been great.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that about our safety briefing beforehand, where you check everything off and just made sure it's comfortable. Because I think a lot of people out there that want to do the flying, including my wife, who I was going to do a shout out to you, babe. Going to do a anniversary gift, and she's like, I do not want to be on that plane. It just looks scary. It's intimidating. But yeah, Sam, can you speak to what you do as a company as far as like the safety briefings? I mean, this is the first one in this area of coastal seaplanes for these type of charters, but the due diligence and the thought process behind it is very intentional.
Yeah, so we're authorized as a Part 135 air carrier by the Federal Aviation Administration, which essentially means that, for all intents and purposes, we operate like a small airline. So we've got systems and processes and checks and all kinds of stuff in place, checklists, maintenance protocols and procedures, prompted by the regulations and also prompted by, company policies and procedures that ensure that this aircraft and our staff and pilots, all the way down to the flight follower, behind the desk, is trained, current, and making good, safe decisions. Our maintenance is top tier. We use AYS flight support out of Hampton Roads Executive, and you just couldn't ask for better guys that get the mission. And we stay on top of this thing, man. I've got a very close relationship with my wife, who's a helicopter pilot, but I also have a very close relationship with my FAA inspector. So we spend a lot of time looking at the plane, talking about routes. Being the first commercial seaplane operator, we've got a lot going on here. We're putting in seaplane bases and responsibly introducing seaplanes into the Chesapeake Bay area as a charter company, and there's a lot that goes into that.
Absolutely, yeah. It's totally safe and follow the regulations so that way everything's up to code, everything's up to par.
Yeah.
And you have just a great time because there's nothing else like this in the area. Sam, I want to touch on next, what we like to ask all our folks on the podcast is what brought you to the area originally,
Sure.
But even more so, what got you to stick around and build your life and business here?
Honestly, this was the whole reason. Reason for the season was Coastal Seaplanes. We spent 3.5 years processing through our Part 135 certification with the FAA. When we finally were certified, we had already made the decision and moved to the Hampton Roads area to launch this company. So, we knew we were going to be the first commercial operator out here, running charters. We knew the regulatory, hurdles and pathways to get through it. And also was pretty well aware of the weight that carries. We've learned a lot, made a lot of really great relationships along the way. Been able to, we're just going to pause right quick. We can go up towards Deltaville here, or we can go across to Cape Charles. Where would you like to go?
Let's go say hi to our friends over at Cape Charles.
That sounds good. Yeah, let's do it.
Shout out to Eric and Sylvia Hawkins over at Cape Charles Tiny Living.
That's right.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah, those people are amazing. So that's what brought us here. I was a songwriter for many, many years and got into flying through that, put myself through flight school, and had the dream to start this seaplane company, years ago. And everything just kind of had to align, and ended up sort of the linchpin was COVID. It was a sort of linchpin for a lot of people, I think. And so we ended up finding our way through, the regulatory process to get certified in that time where I had really I had better things to do, but I wasn't able to do them. Yeah. So this just became my main focus, and I just obsessed over it and got the chance to fly in Alaska, Southeast Alaska in that time. So, growing and building my experiences, not only as an aviator, but learning as much as I could about the seaplane world.
Wow, Alaska, huh?
Alaska, yeah.
Oh my gosh, what was that experience like? You see a bunch of polar bears, or?
Well, not in Southeast Alaska. You see a lot of bears, not a lot of polar bears, but yeah, there's it's a world unto itself. It's just incredible. The weather is challenging. This is like a relatively nice day, Southeast Alaska. Okay, so it rains a lot in Southeast Alaska, and but when the sun comes through, there's nothing else like it. It's just like a whole nother world. Looks like Jurassic Park. It's beautiful, and the people are incredible. There's several float plane operators out of Juneau that are incredible. I had the opportunity to work for Alaska Seaplanes, which are just salt of the earth people, great guys. and gals. And and my wife flew for a company called North Star Trekking. She flew A-Star for them. And so we went up and did that in 2022. And then we made our way down to the Gulf of Mexico after that. Both of us flew in the offshore oil and gas industry, still in the queue for the 135 cert, and still building a lot of experiences. I got to fly alongside Lyle Pinapinto from Southern Seaplane.
Oh, wow.
And Lacey down there, and learned a lot from those folks. And, flying in the bayou was a totally different experience. And it was just good people, salty earth people. So I'll be the first to say I have stood on the shoulders of giants to see the pathway for this, to bring this to life.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that was one of the things when we originally connected on Instagram. I think it's been like almost a year now of just seeing how far you've come within this past year. I love that you highlight the people that you learn from and gain experience from. Not only does that speak to your credibility, but I think from the guest experience side allows you to elevate that as well. So you mentioned singing earlier, right?
Yeah.
I know you do a lot of somewhat romantic getaways whenever you're taking your guest up high. Do you ever serenade or sing to any of them when they're celebrating that special moment?
No, it's I thought about doing it. I've been very fortunate to be, for the success we've had in the music world, and just as a band and as a songwriter, I haven't really intertwined those two yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I've thought about shooting a music video. We got a song I wrote a while back called Sundowner, and I thought it'd be a great one to shoot out here. A place called Cape Charles.
Is on
and picking up some of that Eastern Shore air traffic now.
That's okay.
And I don't know. It's definitely something to think about. Yeah, to do a island, what would you call that, elopement or an island engagement, and bust out the guitar.
There's all kinds of stuff you can do. I mean, so going back to the guest experience, this is really an intimate setting. So a partner or some like close friends would have a ball back here. So what is it like? I know we're kind of facing forward, but there's two behind us, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Walk us through the plane and what type of amenities and experience can folks expect.
Well, so this plane was certified as a six-seater aircraft, right? So one pilot and 5 passenger seats. When you put the floats on, you lose some of that useful load. So we take a couple of the seats out, but we still operate with 3 to 4 seats in here for passengers. And so it's really comfortable back there. There's lots of legroom, more legroom than you'll find on an airliner. And
everything about this experience is better than an airliner. Yeah. Including I can bring my own drink.
yeah. You can bring your own drink. You can chill out. We don't currently provide alcohol or any kind of beverage service, but you can bring your own. And as long as it's not alcoholic, you can crack your own cold ones up here. If it is alcoholic, I can crack it for you. And there's FAA regs that cover that and serve you with your own beverages that you bring. We got all kinds of stuff. We do fishing trips, wade fishing trips with folks. So you fly into the most, pristine, untouched, wade fishing areas on the entire East Coast and just crush it. Trout, speckled trout, redfish, all kinds of stuff. And then we also run, a lot of business guys out of Virginia Beach up to DC, Outer Banks all the time. And I fly, we're open 7 days a week, and I'll fly 5 or 6 of those.
Wow.
All summer long. Yeah, wintertime we still operate. It just slows down just a little bit.
That's incredible, Sam, and I really enjoyed the business side of things too, because like you said, it's a unique service, and it also covers a variation of deliverables, not just for getaways or vacations, which are amazing, but also for the business side as well.
Absolutely. I'm going to make a call real quick. Okay, Charles, traffic amphib 206 kilo is 2 miles off. We're inbound. We'll be landing Cape Charles to the north.
Cape Charles, here we come.
We got the Coast Guard, and then we give a holler out here to our waterfront. We're going to just give her a look here. Sometimes the water gets a little rough out here in the wintertime, so we may just do a flyby.
I will let you take your arms. But you can't steal those song lyrics. Those are my song lyrics.
Yeah, no worries.
Yep. Hey, Eric. Hey, Sylvia. Oh, is that Cape Charles Hotel down there, too?
That is indeed.
There we go. And we got to film some amazing podcast episodes there.
Yeah.
I was saying we got to film some great content down there as well. So definitely check out the video archive of all things Cape Charles for Discover Virginia podcast.
All right, sweet. Yeah, that's we're going to bypass Cape Charles Harbor today. It's just the northwest wind's a little challenging there. In the wintertime, we do operate out of Kings Creek right here.
Very, very cool. Hey, Grant, I'm going to videotape that get the Cape Charles edited up. All right, Sam, do we have some good time for questions now, or need to keep the airways? All right, cool.
Great time.
All righty, sir. So I want to dive into the business part too. You had humbly covered, the origin story in the start, but as business owners, we know it's not easy. It's not simple ever. Can you walk us through some of the hardest parts of launching your business, from the permit to the planes, and of course, just convincing people that this was something the region?
Yeah, absolutely. So, those are some good components to cover. When we first came out with the idea to bring Coastal Seaplanes to the Chesapeake Bay, the first, obvious reason was just the amount of shoreline here, right? And the communities that have been constructed along those shorelines, and these communities that it takes a while to get there from any, major city, and also between them. I mean, driving for example, from Deltaville to Cape Charles is a solid 3.5, 4 hours. We turn that into, we're looking at Deltaville right now across the bay, so we're looking at maybe a 12, 13-minute flight.
Wow.
Yeah, it's insanely short. So that's the need, right? The aircraft we had acquired in 2021, I was super hot to trot. I was like, man, this is great. Everything that I'd read, certification takes 6 to 8 months for, Part 135. And so we jumped in both feet. And then COVID made everybody go off into their homes and then just do their work from there. And the FAA lost 60% of its workforce. And it was just a really challenging time for aviation in general, for everybody, right? But for aviation in general. So we ended up holding on to this plane, the one that we're flying in right now, since 2021. From 2021 to 2024, it essentially sat. We ran some Part 91 tours and stuff like that. But, and we flew it as a family to do some cool adventures. But it was just basically, borderline asset liability. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So it was really tough. So, we got the aircraft. We ended up putting a new engine in it. The engine was great that it had, but, what's called calendared out. So it got past its 12-year overhaul mark. So we ended up having it pulled out, overhauled by Don George Aircraft out of Orlando, Florida. It's a great operation. So we got a brand new heart. And we did some upgrades to the aircraft to bring it up to spec for Part 135 operations. And we finished all of our documents and our manuals and all that. We got all that approved by the FAA, and we got certified. And we ended up getting certified May 1st, 2024. And it was just this massive undertaking. You got to think, like, almost 4 years of my life, 3.5 years of my life dedicated to becoming something that at the end, I didn't know if we were going to have enough money to hold out. I've heard stories of operators having to hold out for a year or two. Try almost 4.
Wow.
And it was a test in faith. It was like Moses in the desert. With all due respect to religion, it was a tough time. So
what kept you going through that season? Because you had to wait, 4 years for that to happen when the average is 1. So what kept you going?
Just an insatiable, focus. I tend to obsess over my dreams, and that's just kind of where we were and how we ended up, getting into that. It was just like, I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to give up. It's that old, you never know how close you are until you're about to quit. You know what I mean? It's like right there. So I just didn't. And honestly, in that time, I can be a bear. I can just obsess over things so deeply and work so hard. Burning both ends of the candle there. And my wife, Rachel, she really, she was the hero in that. She stood by me while I, just, I don't even know how to just writhed in anxiety. It's just going to happen. Every time the FAA would send back, we started out with like 725 edits on our first round.
Right.
That I'd have to go in, read each one, study what I needed to write, what needed to change. Sometimes entire sections needed to be entirely rewritten with no real guidance at first. We were able to work with some of the most incredible inspectors through the tail process of the certification. Karen Lundy and Mark Buten, Timothy Griffin, all just incredible inspectors. They're actually from the AFS 900, which is the 121 airline auditing world, right? So they go to the airlines and they make sure that everything's in line. So when we went through the certification process, it wasn't just like a small town FISDO. It was the AFS 900, and it was basically like being trained by the top dogs. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so what we came out with, I went in a boy, came out a man. I went in with what I felt was a pretty firm grasp on the regs and the framework that the FAA has built to keep the public safe and keep operators safe. And when I came out of it, I was I'm not as much of an expert as I'm going to be, but you could say I was definitely am a subject matter expert on most of that stuff.
Wow, what a testament to that. I like that bear analogy too. If like you just have to grit your teeth and just bear it all.
Yeah.
And to have a partner through that, I'm sure was very encouraging. What's the best piece of a business advice you got during that season of waiting and trying and making sure everything was up to par so that way you could operate the business?
I think so many people get obsessed with like the end goal. Like all I wanted was to be certified to get this off my back and just go to work, right? If I had bypassed all of the lessons learned in that, I would not have been ready to sit down in a room with the United States Navy, U.S. Coast Guard, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the Virginia Maritime Association, and explain to them the intricacies of our company and how we operate safely within the public to help them align with what we're doing and to be the first one to put in a seaplane base on Elizabeth River. If I hadn't gone through all those trials and tribulations and really stuck it out and dug in and just taken a deep breath and just said, this is my life, this is my day right now, and this is okay. Like this is right where I'm supposed to be. You just got to trust the process. I think more than anything, trust the process. Do not give up. Trust the process, because who you are becoming in that process is who you were meant to be. And you just got to trust that. It's so hard, but you can't, if everything's handed to you. If this had been handed to me, I'd run the company into the ground immediately.
Yeah. And you touched on something earlier, too, that I'd love to highlight for listeners out there who are not from Virginia, but we are at ground zero, Elizabeth River. Mile marker zero is what they call it in nautical terms. But we do have airspace that's for the military, also flying to D.C. Well, we have those interchanges of, I'm sure,
right,
civilian airspace to military airspace. What was, just curious, like, who did you have to talk to make that happen? I mean, you call the Army and hey, I'm going to fly in your airspace. Like, what's that like?
Yeah, that's a delicate relationship to manage sometimes. I mean, these guys, they're pulling off operations out here that require space, right? It requires respect, it requires distance, and then they're operating within their airspace, outside of their airspace. I mean, there's hovercraft, there's helicopters, there's destroyers, there's all kinds of stuff through the air and along the water here. And if coming in here thinking that because the bottom line is that as a commercial operator, we do have a right to the airspace, but you also have to have a respect for and not only because being a red-blooded patriot, not only a respect for the might of our United States military, respect them and give them the room that they need to train and keep our soldiers sharp, but also building those relationships like with Naval Station Norfolk and the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard.
Right.
Those were hard-earned relationships that came over time. I mean, we didn't wrestle, but turned over some really difficult conversations in our hands together. And in the end, those guys and gals were our salt of the earth people. We were able to help show them the regulatory pathway that we operate within, how that, coincides with their operations, and then build processes to help make sure that our operations are protected, their operations are protected, and more than anything, and most importantly, that the general public is safe at all times.
Absolutely, which is what we, always want for an emerging industry or an emerging business in our community as well. So, Sam, thank you for walking us through that, man. That's incredible. Yeah. I love that story, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, because you mentioned this earlier, I have to ask you. You're booked out 7 days a week, pretty much flying all the time. This is really an industry that I think is hit heavily, especially with everything we have going on with the congestion and the great place to live. How do you see seaplanes changing regional travel here over the next few years as we head towards 2030?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. The impact of seaplanes on the economy and on the growth of these, of these populations and areas. I mean, it's undeniable. I mean, we're statistically the safest mode of transportation in the world, right? So amphibious seaplanes land on runways, land on water, you're never really out of options in a place like this. You're always generally in a pretty good spot. Should anything, arise where you'd have to land. But, economically we connect. For example, we're looking at Gwynn's Island right here. Gwynn's Island, there's a lot of people live here year round, but there's also a lot of second and third homeowners that come here from DC, they come from Richmond, and we're proud to be the air transportation for some of those families to come in here and enjoy these properties. So it really helps to spike, real estate. We work with a couple of real estate guys up in Maryland to help them show properties via seaplane. It's just a really cool way to bind short distances and bind the community in a way that they really haven't ever been before. So when we're able to take people from Virginia Beach to, the DC area, there's a doctor we fly out of Virginia Beach off of Broad Bay, checks on his practice up there, fly him up once a quarter, flying back. And, it's a big impact on his family. He's home a lot more.
Yeah.
And so things like that, it's a deep impact. So seaplanes belong here. They belong in the Chesapeake Bay. They're part of the fabric of places like the Pacific Northwest, and we're proud to be weaving ourselves into the community and the fabric of this community here.
Absolutely. And I'm sure traveling and working in Alaska probably opened your eyes up to that more as well, because I've never been to Alaska, but I can imagine you probably just can't drive wherever you want to go all the time, right?
Yeah, places like Juneau are not on the road system. It's the capital of Alaska, but Juneau, and it's a hustle and bustle little metropolis in a really spread out, the Inside Passage, Southeast Alaska from Ketchikan all the way to Skagway is these communities that are speckled throughout there. The only way to them is float plane or boat. Only way to Juneau is an airplane or boat. And there's a lot of that out here, although there's more roads here. But yeah, Alaska taught me a lot about how seaplanes become an integral piece of the way that a community functions. And that's really what we're trying to build here, is give people an option, a safe option, for their families to travel on and get to these places when it might have, prime example. There's some folks who have lived a long, great life, and time hasn't necessarily been kind to their bodies. Sitting in a car for 6 or 7 hours getting here is just not an option.
Right.
We could turn that into a 45-minute seaplane ride,
That's incredible of an offering, but also, too, of just like having more options that positively impact the community business world. Yeah, that's incredible. So how long does it take to fly from Virginia Beach to Cape Charles?
From Virginia Beach to Cape Charles, we're looking at about 12 minutes.
That was like 12 minutes, right?
Yeah, it's a really short flight from there. 15 minutes takeoff to touchdown from Yorktown. Gwynn's Island here, it's about 12 minutes, 13 minutes. It's really short. Connecting the eastern shore and, the western shore, for lack of a better term, is kind of where we are. A lot of this business is starting to thrive. Places like Deltaville we're looking at right here. Fishing Bay, we serve Deltaville, we land and take off in Fishing Bay. I'm going to fly you over to a place called the Tides Inn. The Tides Inn is a really unique spot. It's a 5-star resort right here on the Rappahannock. They got 2 incredible restaurants on site. Just a sensationally awesome place that we formed a relationship with. And so we are the exclusive seaplane operator for the Tides Inn. We fly people from all over, DC, Richmond, Norfolk, all that, straight into the Tides Inn.
And they wouldn't normally get the business because of the accessibility by car is just not always favorable for everyone's timetable, right? Yeah.
Some people don't want to drive it, or they'd rather fly it. And it's pretty cool. Not only that, it's just a really neat way to arrive, And we're looking at the Rappahannock right here. The Rappahannock River is a really, really cool place. This is what's called the Virginia River. And, basically from here all the way up the Rappahannock, there's, dozens and dozens of little communities that kind of make the river realm, as it were. And it's a really awesome thing. I mean, there's so much here. I mean, look, this is Deltaville. Like, this whole place is just booming.
I'll be honest, never heard of Deltaville before.
Yeah, but look at it. There's sailboats. I mean, it's like a mini Annapolis. You know what I mean? But it's Virginia style. It's lovable. It's awesome. It's quintessential in so many ways. When this place starts to turn, right, the leaves start to turn. This is one of my favorite places to take people flying. This shot right here over Deltaville, so famous.
And for those of you watching the video podcast, obviously you can't see it right now. I'll get a little bit of B-roll footage, but guys, just call Sam at Coastal Seaplanes and take the flight for yourself and experience this part of Virginia. It's so worth exploring and discovering.
Oh, it sure is.
Yeah, with a view like this, I can imagine you probably never get tired of flying, although you're probably tired in the general. But yeah, this is an incredible view.
Yeah, we have some 8-hour flight days that'll just leaves you with that good solid day of work done feeling.
Right. Yeah. So how many planes do you guys have? Is it just the one right now?
We currently operate one seaplane, yeah. So to build the company, you got to be financially agile, and we've had zero backers, zero investment. This is all built by hand, just me and Rachel. So redirecting a lot of the financials from the music world back into Coastal Seaplanes, and just building it up, brick by brick, as they say. And so yeah, we just have the one, and now we're at our limit. We had our limit this summer, so we're acquiring a second aircraft over the winter to put on the line in 2026, and that's going to require hiring an additional pilot as well.
I gotcha. So is that more so just wanting to have natural growth, or more so of like, hey, we're open to investors, but we're just going to take our baby steps right now as we, not baby steps, but you've already done leaps and bounds, I should say, but more so just gradual growth.
Organic growth is important to me. Getting in over your head is a quick way to sink it. We have proven the model. We've proven that there is a massive need and a return on it. And so, where we're at now, we're open to investors. We're open to outside funding, but it's got to be the right person. You're not looking on a quick turn here. We're not interested in hard money. We're interested in a relationship with somebody who wants to grow something that's going to serve the general public for years to come.
Absolutely. I think that's what we want from all of our, especially industries that are innovating and really empowering Hampton Roads to progress and have more options for business as well. I mean, that's really the only mentality we want to have with people we're partnering with.
1,000%.
Sam, I'd imagine you see a lot of beautiful things out here. Do you have a favorite route or favorite place that never gets old, no matter how many times you fly by it here in the area?
I mean, it's always great going into Cape Charles. The Northern Neck is beautiful. Anytime we get to go into the Outer Banks, awesome. It gets spicy down there, with the winds. The winds in the Outer Banks are famous, but it's always an adventure. It's always great. We tailor our operations to be as safe and comfortable as possible. So, in the wintertime, things get slow. The wind picks up on the Atlantic. I think people know that. But we still get to fly a lot of days in the wintertime, but all summer long, Outer Banks, Northern Neck, Eastern Shore, Annapolis, beautiful. The coastal region of the Chesapeake Bay through, all the way up, to the north end and then the south end of the Outer Banks. I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's really, you just can't go wrong. But where we're going to land right now in Carter's Creek is a pretty special place. I think you'll see why.
Very exciting for that. Sam, before we land, I have a couple of questions for those people who, maybe haven't flown before, or maybe they get seasick or anything like that. So, can you describe the feeling of a water takeoff for someone who's never done it?
Yeah.
And what is some of the amenities people can add onto their flight to make it more memorable for them and their family?
Yeah, for sure. Let me make this call. Field traffic, amphib 206 kilos, 504 feet north side of the Rappahannock. We're about landing Carter's Creek, just to the north. We'll be landing south. So flying seaplanes, water takeoffs and landings, generally a lot smoother than people would expect. We do operate in, sometimes the waves are a little bit bigger, and you'll get a thump, thump, thump as we go, and then you're off into this glassy, smooth takeoff, once we're in the air. Landing, same sauce, you know what I mean? If it's smooth, it's generally smooth landing. If it's rougher, it'll be a little bit of bumpier landing, but you'll generally always find flying with Coastal Seaplanes is far smoother than flying on any of your regular air carriers, Not that they're doing a bad job, we just do a little bit different.
Yeah, you're better. Yes, absolutely. I said that, not Sam.
Yeah. So, at the end of the day, people making their trip a little bit cooler, we do allow folks to bring on their own beverages, whatever beverage of choice that is. And then we also we do all kinds of stuff. Like, for example, if it's like a dinner, we do the flying dining stuff on top. It was one of our experiences and adventures.
And talk about the flying dining. I think that's really something unique that I don't think people recognize too much about.
Yeah, so the flying dining is a pretty cool thing. We get out here and we take people to places like the Tides Inn or to Cape Charles and things like that, and we load them up, them and a couple other good friends, and we fly them over and we offer a standby for them so they can enjoy the their amenities and have a good time.
That's awesome. So, part of the package is you'll fly them in and then wait for them as they dine.
Yep.
And then afterwards they can come back and you're not driving, so you can partake in it and enjoy
Yes.
celebrate your festivities as you see fit, and having that luxury. And then for the back, there's pretty much a good amount of storage for luggage and things like that for overnight trips.
Sure, yeah, absolutely, yeah. We fly bags and people. I mean, obviously we have a useful load. We have a 3,600 pounds max gross weight. We got about 1,000 pounds useful load with this aircraft. So between fuel and people and bags and stuff, we can usually take all 3 people with anywhere from 25 to 45 pounds of baggage per person. So it's a good bit, and it's a pretty cool experience.
What's the most amount of people you've had in this plane? Of course, with FAA regulations, it thumbs up for that.
Yeah, we just with the 1 seat removed, the most we've had in here is a total of 5 people. So 1 pilot and 4 passengers.
4 passengers. Okay, so me and 3 other people can come. That's the max amount, and that's including luggage, or is that maxed out without any space?
No, you can put luggage in at that point in time. The only time you'd see an increase on that is if somebody had a lap child. So if they're 2 years old and under, they could sit in the seat in a lap, and then you would have 6 passengers. We always have 6 life vests on board. It's enough. Our survival kit and all that kind of stuff is tailored to 6 people.
All right, so moms and dads out there with small kids, 2 and under.
Yep.
No excuse not to take that vacation. Husbands, better, right?
Yeah, bring a headset for them. We always tell folks if you're going to bring a kid on board, bring a headset for them. It's noise canceling.
Very cool.
All right, cool. We're going to do a pre-landing checklist real quick just to make sure we got everything covered. All right, landing lights are on. Seatbelts are fastened. You got your seat upright. That's right.
Seat upright.
Doors are locked. So you do what I use is GW gumps for the rest of this, okay? So we're going to be looking at gears up, blue water, blue lights, water rudder's up, gas on the fullest tank. We do a double check. Gear is up for water landing. Mixture's rich. We'll get the prompts on final. And we have a clear waterway here. And this is a really cool shot as we come down through the trees.
Traffic is 6 Mental 6 November Foxtrot, 10 miles.
The logo placement is perfect. Every video I've taken, I'm like, oh yeah, the Coastal Seaplanes right there in the mid shot.
That's right. A little bump there.
That was smooth like butter, man. That was smooth like butter.
Bit of sinker. All right, here we are at the tide's end. All right, so water rudder's down here. Boink. That gives us our steering. Do you want to get out and check this place out or no?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, cool.
Pause here on the GoPro.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, let's check out the tides in. Where we at? Where we just landed?
Yeah, we just landed on Carter's Creek at the tide's end.
Hey, what's up, you guys? This is Sam Riggs with Coastal Seaplanes. Let's go take a look at the tide's end.
Y'all, I'm a fish out of water here. Good grief. Look at this. You can't tell there's like so much natural light here. We're in Virginia. This is the tide's in. I know I keep saying that, but wow, look at this view. So this is a resort-style hotel. They have pool amenities. They have places for you to park your boat. And of course, if you don't live in the area, just go with Sam, and then he'll take you here. Wow. Oh, my gosh.
So Salt and Meadow. So, well, don't take this as an official thing. I'm just gonna, okay. But we were at a Christmas party a couple years ago, and they announced the Salt and Meadow, that it was going to be named Salt and Meadow because what you were getting was salt from the coastal landscape that we have here, and then the meadow would be from the farm, because most of the ingredients are from our farm over there. So if you haven't checked out the farm, check out the farm.
What do you have at the farm?
Oh my gosh. Well, it depends on what season it is.
What season do we have now?
Well, right now we have peppers. Figs just came out of season. Grapes are there right now, just a few of them. And then, oh my gosh, what else does Patrick have? Mint.
We just got through blackberry season.
Yeah. Fall vegetables and fall. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I want to say we might have some squash, but again, don't quote me on it because they're very tiny squash right now. But check out the farm and see what's at the farm. But yeah, the salt would be like the oysters and all that stuff. Yeah.
All right. So before we hit the next flight pattern, I wanted to tell you about our wonderful sponsors over at Free Life LLC. Free Life LLC is a mobile pop up bar in and around the Hampton Roads area. And then they also cover events and venues where they can come to you and your business and feature drinks, beverages, and all sorts of flavors. But don't worry, if you don't want to go out or you may be feeling like you just want to stock the fridge instead, you can go over to their website. Right now, we're running a promotion, link in the bio, for you to get a super fun and easy discount using our code to partake in that purchase. And if you want to check out the link in the description to use our code, you can get a discount on your first order. All right, I think they're about to leave. So isn't this place great? All right, let's go.
What's this do?
Don't touch that.
What about this?
Don't.
What about can I touch anything?
Yes.
What's
touch
this?
yourself.
Oh.
All right, here we go. You ready?
Yes, sir.
We are getting off the water. Field traffic, M5206 kilo, departing Carter's Creek to the south, making a south climb out. You see these PVC poles in the water?
Yeah.
Those mark oyster reefs, and they're the bane of my existence.
Let me guess, you've hit a couple before?
Never hit one, knock on wood.
Yeah.
And I don't want to.
Yeah, the oysters are very sacred in this area.
Yeah, as they should be.
Right.
I think you should also just use buoys. If they use buoys to mark them, it won't hurt a float plane.
Yeah, versus a stick out of the ground.
Yeah, you chop that PVC, it's going to cause some money damage. I'm on Larry Traffic, M5206 kilo, just off Carter's Creek. We're making a south climb out just to the east of the airfield.
They get the selfies. You know, when we're high enough, I'll kick off the next segment.
Yeah, we're going to get up to 1,000 feet over the land here. Generally over the water, I'll cruise around at 500, and we'll just kind of beeline it right across the green here.
Sounds good.
All right. Ready when you are.
Wow, so that was the tides in, man. You were really showing all out there.
It's a cool spot, man. I just do the flying.
Oh my gosh, as soon as I air this, my wife's going to be like, when's our trip? When's our trip? So thanks for that, Sam.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
Yeah, man, so how did you and your wife meet?
Well, Rachel is a commercial helicopter pilot, and when I was seeking my own commercial rating, it was kind of after a strange, pivotal moment in my life. I said, I want to go learn how to fly helicopters. I already flew airplanes. And so I called the local helicopter flight school, and I said, I want to take lessons. They're like, you want to do a discovery flight? I said, no, I just want to start taking lessons. Said, all right, cool. We'll put you with Rachel. And that was it, man. She walked in the room, and it was just like, I was just like, man, I'm going to definitely keep coming back. And, because getting your helicopter rating, it's expensive. And I used to joke. I said, the only reason I got my helicopter license because you're so pretty. Yeah, but she was so incredible. She's an amazing person. So, finished my commercial helicopter rating under her instruction. And then life just sort of blasted off for us. We were 2020 in February, we were in New Zealand. And that was when the headlines were like, a cruise ship quarantined off the coast of China, where it all began. You know what I mean? And it was like, what in the world? And we're backpacking around South Island, New Zealand, just being wild, just single, no kids, more or less. We were dating. But yeah, so long story short, so we get back to the airport to leave. There's the speakers are playing. You have 24 hours to leave the country, or you will be placed under quarantine lockdown. So we were like getting out just in time, and we got back to the States, and she went back to work. She was working in the Gulf at the time, and I went on tour actually in Australia for a couple weeks. And by the time we both got back to the house, she was sending me to CVS get a pregnancy test, and our little guy Rook came along shortly thereafter.
Oh, wow, that's incredible. How old is he now?
He's gonna be 5 here in 10 days.
Wow, happy birthday, Rook.
That's right, man. Rook is he's a field traffic, M5206 kilo, 6 miles to the south, 1,000 feet southbound, switching.
That's so incredible too, and I understand we glazed over this off camera, but you are also from Texas as well.
That's right.
That's where you met your wife, correct?
That's right. Yeah. So I was born in Florida. When I was 18, I moved to Texas, and from 18 all the way to I don't even know, what was that, 35, 34, something like that.
Yeah.
35. That was my life, man. Living in Texas. So it's a really cool place.
Very, very cool place. And then I understand, we have a mutual respect and appreciation for the Buckies.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, man, Bucky's. because you and I saw Buc-ee's come up from like, I don't want to say nothing, but pretty close to nothing.
Pretty much nothing.
Yeah.
It was a gas station,
Yeah,
right?
it's a gas station, dude. I mean, solid snacks, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cheap gas, you know, but now it's like, whew.
Yeah.
It's
like
a dynasty
It's like
now.
it's like a Walmart kind of legacy. Yeah.
Well, it's more than a Walmart. It's a freaking religion.
Yeah.
You know, people are like, go from Buc-ee's to Buc-ee's.
Yeah. And one of these episodes, we'll have to go stop by Buc-ee's sometime.
1,000%. Yeah, they got one over in Virginia now, I think.
Yeah. Close enough to Texas now.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, Buc-ee's is awesome. Yeah. Being in a band, touring around, you know, anytime we were hitting a Buc-ee's, it didn't matter if you were, you know, middle of the night, dead asleep, someone would be like, Buc-ee's, everybody roll out of their bunk, get off the bus.
Yeah.
Go inside and just get something. Beaver nuggets or, you know, one of the many, many snacks that they have 24 hours a day.
Yeah, the jerkies are what did it for me. The different types of jerkies and elk and
Oh, yeah.
Phenomenal. Yeah. I always like to mention where we're from, our origin stories, because that helps with the way we like view community in general, which is one of the last segments we cover here on the show. So I would love to hear from you, Sam. What does community mean to you? What does it look like to partner with your community on a personal level and also on the business level as well?
Yeah, I mean, community, you know, I think by kind of definition, it's extended, you know, kind of extended family. You know, when we moved here, we moved into a little neighborhood, Riverside, over Newport News. We live on the Lakeside Sunset Loop over there by the Mariners Museum. And it's kind of like the Sandlot neighborhood. There's like 8 kids, right? 8 families. And there's a bunch of other people. Everybody knows everybody. And, but then that, like, I started to see that sort of replicated throughout the area, you know, York County. You know, Portsmouth is a super tight-knit area. Virginia Beach, everybody knows everybody. It's a really cool place. And one of the cool things that I've learned about the Hampton Roads Tidewater area is how warm and welcoming it really is. Just such good people. So much history and entrepreneurial spirit wrapped up in this place. And, you know, admittedly, some bureaucratic hurdles, you know, but you can find that everywhere. So I think that as a new company and as a new industry to the area, what started out as a real uphill battle really became it's a beautiful landscape of relationships that we've made along the way. So I think community is just that. It's extended family where you build relationships and, you know, people lift each other up every chance they get. And yeah, that's what it's about.
Yeah, very, very cool. Now, our last section for all of our interviews is our rapid fire question section, and then we roll out the red carpet for you. So are you up for some rapid fire questions, Sam?
Let's go.
All righty. So first rapid fire question is, when you are not out flying planes, what do you like to do for fun in and around the Hampton Roads area?
We like to get out, so in and around the Hampton Roads area. And so I love to fish. So that's one of my things. I love to get out of the water and fish. Rachel and I together, we're all about finding cool little foodie spots. We love going to the Hunt Room over there at the Cavalier. Such a cool spot. Any kind of place that we could find like that. Our little boy, wild little hellion, so we take him to all the trampoline parks, to you know, the climbing gym and all kinds of stuff like that. So that's sort of what we do.
Very, very cool. And great recommendations as well. There's something to do for families and individuals alike in Hampton Roads. So just I would love to feature that. When it comes to our beach season, I know we're not on the beach season right now, but when you do you like the beaches?
Oh yeah, man! I take people to New Point Comfort Beach right over here, man.
Okay.
Take people in and out of there all summer long. There's any given Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There's 60 boats along that beach. You know, Virginia Beach is banging all summer long. You got Buckrow Beach. You got the Eastern Shore beaches there at Cape Charles. I mean, the beach season here is premium.
And I'm sure this question is going to hit you differently than our other guests, but because you fly around so much, what's been your favorite beach to visit in the Virginia Beach area?
Ooh, that is tough.
Can't walk away from this one. We're in the plane, so.
Right. Well, you know, I think kind of coastal Virginia is sort of a little bit notorious for not having really huge waves unless a storm's coming along. But I thought Virginia Beach was really cool. We'll go over there every now and then, get a room, and just kind of take a night or two as a family to just chill and soak up the vibes over there. Buckrow Beach is a little hidden gem right here. It's hard to pick between the two, though, man. I think, honestly, like, this little spot right over here, New Point Comfort, is one of my favorites. On any given summer day, the water is like blue-green, like approaching like tropical.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And it's a really special place. New Point Cover is one of my favorites. The second, coming into Virginia Beach and Buckrow.
There we go. That's a good list there. And I think from what the comments we've seen on a couple of our reels is just the water quality, I think really helps gauge people's interest in which beaches to go to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And the locals like to protect their beaches. So, we will not mention Sandbridge at sorry. We mentioned Sandbridge, but yeah. That's my personal favorite.
Sandbridge?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sandbridge is great, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Very cool. So when it comes to the different types of planes you've flown before, what's your favorite type of plane to fly in general? And then what's your least favorite type of plane to fly?
Absolute favorite aircraft to fly is a de Havilland Beaver on straight floats.
So for everyone else that doesn't know what that means, including myself, what is a de Havilland Beaver on floats?
Okay, so a de Havilland Beaver, or just commonly referred to as a Beaver, is it's made in the 40s and 50s, and I think into the 60s. It was a round engine, uses the R985, what's it called, a radial engine.
Yeah.
And they do put turbine engines on them and stuff like that, but it's a classic quintessential bush aircraft for flying floats. You can put, if it'll fit, it'll fly pretty much. You know what I mean? You can load it with gear, people, and whatever, all kinds of stuff, and it's just a tank. It comes off the water like a kite. It's just a cool, powerful, beautiful airplane. And it's a fingertip airplane, with a 206 even, it's kind of a little heavier on the controls, honestly, just the way it was designed. The Beaver, one finger, you can fly that thing around.
Wow, like a joystick.
Super light on the controls. Really, it can be a little bit of a hoss on the water, with current, wind, and waves and stuff. So, but that's every float plane. So, Beaver is just a beautiful aircraft. Flies like a dream, runs like a song. You got to take care of it, But man, just bad to the bone.
Sounds like a good labor of love, right? Between the captain and the plane.
Yeah, they're not the fastest, in the fleet, but for what they lack in speed, they make up in usefulness and comfort.
Yeah,
such a cool plane.
Very cool. I haven't heard of that. That's really a neat one.
Oh yeah, it's a cool plane. I flew one of those for Alaska Seaplanes. It was just a sensational aircraft. Oh, and my least favorite.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Sam, I gotta cover the hard part. What's your least favorite plane to fly?
Yeah, least favorite plane, man. I gotta say, I'm not a fan of the Tomahawks, which I think everybody kind of feels that way. That's why they call them the Traumahawks. They're a really popular training aircraft. Just not my favorite. Any of those kinds of stuff. The Diamond, single engine Diamond aircraft. Nothing against them. I know a lot of people swear by them. I just feel like it's a fishbowl. I'm a high wing guy. I don't like low wing aircraft. That's just me. I like being able to look down and see where, what's out my wing. That's how I feel about flying airplanes. So
that's how I like to ride in airplanes. If I can't see the ground, it's it's a little nerve wracking. Yeah.
That's just kind of how I feel about it. But different strokes for different folks.
Yeah. Oh, take us back to whenever you were training for your pilot's license. What's a core memory that stands out to you of a lesson you had to learn the hard way when it came to figuring out how to fly a plane, what to do and what not to do?
I've made some mistakes. Luckily, knock on wood, nobody got hurt. I got lucky, very fortunate. I'll dodge this bird here real quick.
Yeah.
There was an aircraft engine failure in my early years of flying, or 182 that I owned for a long time. I bought it, it had a brand new engine in it, and was climbing out, flying to a show, went from 4,500 to 6,500 feet per cruise to get out in some smoother air, and the engine failed. There was no accident, but the engine just prop locked, and just complete catastrophic engine failure. I had to glide it 8 miles, land on this old abandoned airstrip on a ranch. And
oh, wow.
Luckily, everything was fine. There was oil everywhere. Glided in, just dead stick. But post-engine teardown analysis showed that the engine manufacturer, it was a factory new engine, had left a piece of packing foam in the crankshaft oil galley all the way to the back, so it starved the very rear cylinder there. And so the lesson I learned, and I could, was that, altitude, you got to have safety margins. If you don't have a place to land, you better have some altitude. And I learned that lesson that day, and I was so thankful I had that extra 2,000 feet.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Sam, that sounds like a really, yeah.
It was a wild time.
Wow. Was it just you flying, or did you have other people on board?
This is just me. Just me. We're gonna land this airplane and then we'll finish it up.
Yes, sir.
Return air traffic, fib 206 kilo, short final landing, Chisholm Creek to the west. All right, pre-landing check. Got gear up, water rudder up, gas full as tank, mixture's rich, gear's up. We'll get the props here on final. You got your seatbelt on?
Sir.
All right, cool. And doors are latched. Like that.
Right.
We'll just step taxi it up here. Interestingly enough, while the Coast Guard considers seaplanes to be vessels while on the water, the state of Virginia has provisions for seaplanes. You know, they state that a seaplane base can be established anywhere in the Commonwealth. All kinds of cool stuff going on. And one of the more interesting ones is that in the no wake zone section, they exclude seaplanes as vessels. So technically, we can take off and land in no wake zones. We try not to, just because we're trying to respect the areas that we fly into. But yeah, there's no speed restrictions.
Yeah.
Because for obvious reasons, we got to take off and land, and we can't do it in 3-foot seas.
Right, are you ready to land this? Well, you already landed the plane. Ready to land this conversation?
Let's land it, dude.
All right, thanks for the rapid fire question section. Only one thing left to do. Sam, camera here. Let the people know where to go to find more about you and how to partake in this wonderful service that you have for our Hampton Roads area.
Yeah, you can find us at coastalseaplanes.com. You can go to @Coastal Seaplanes on Instagram and Facebook. We don't have a TikTok. But if you want to book a flight with us, you can check out coastalseaplanes.com, click on experiences and adventures. You can click on on-demand service or charters, and you can also click on scenic flights. So there's all kinds of cool stuff that we offer. And then depending on when this is coming up, we've got Seaplane Sunday coming up on October 26th. Come out to take a $25 seaplane flight.
October 26th. Hope you're there.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sam.
Thanks, buddy.